Manchester City is undergoing a strategic turning point. After a turbulent start to the season and deep changes within the club's structure, the board is working behind the scenes to consolidate the next phase of its sporting project. Sources close to the Etihad indicate that the club wants to secure the continuity of two of its biggest stars before the January transfer window opens. At the same time, Pep Guardiola is closely monitoring the progress of a 17-year-old talent who could be promoted to the first team at any moment. To complete the picture, a promising Leicester City forward has resurfaced on the club's radar. Behind the scenes, the new sporting director, Hugo Viana, has been the main architect of this restructuring. In his first transfer window, he oversaw 7 signings and authorized several departures, some of them surprising. Established names such as Kevin De Bruyne, Kyle Walker, Ilkay Gundogan, James McAtee, Ederson, and Scott Carson left the club permanently, while Jack Grealish and Manuel Akanji were loaned out to regain rhythm and confidence after periods of instability. The overhaul seemed risky, but results have begun to show. City climbed to 5th place in the Premier League and left behind comparisons to last season's disappointing campaign. The board's focus now is to preserve the team's core. Ruben Dias, Rico Lewis, and Nico O'Reilly have already renewed their contracts, and the immediate priority is now Rodri and Phil Foden. Both are seen as pillars of the future and fundamental to maintaining the team's identity under Guardiola's management. Negotiations with Rodri have dragged on for over a year, but both sides are optimistic about reaching an agreement that will keep him in Manchester beyond 2027. The Spanish midfielder remains the engine of the team, and his tactical role is regarded as irreplaceable. Phil Foden, meanwhile, is going through a period of physical and technical recovery. After struggling with injuries that limited his participation, he has begun to show flashes of the talent that made him one of England's most creative players. The club intends to offer a new contract that recognizes his growing importance and shields him from potential approaches. Securing the renewals of Rodri and Foden would be a double statement of authority, a clear sign that City has no intention of giving up ground to their European rivals. As talks progress, another point of internal excitement emerges: the rise of Ryan Mikhedu. At 17, the forward has been impressing in City's academy. A former Chelsea youth player, he stood out in the Under-18 Premier League for his finishing precision and maturity on the pitch. Mikhedu displays a rare composure for his age and has earned praise from the entire coaching staff. Guardiola describes him as a disciplined talent with above-average game intelligence. In a recent interview, Pep confirmed that Mikhedu is being monitored for a potential promotion to the first team. "We are watching his progress closely. Kolo Touré and the youth coaches have done an incredible job. Ryan understands the game and knows how to position himself. He's ready to take the next step," said the manager. The youngster has already been named on the bench for a Premier League match in the win over Burnley. Expectations are that he will get minutes in domestic cup fixtures, particularly in the early rounds. Mikhedu's case illustrates a defining trait of City under Guardiola: the continued investment in homegrown talent. Players such as Cole Palmer, Brahim Diaz, and Tosin Adarabioyo emerged under similar circumstances. Even with the pressure for immediate trophies, Pep insists on integrating young players into the first-team dynamics. This philosophy not only renews the squad's energy, but also ensures long-term financial and cultural stability. Another name in the news is Jeremy Manga, a 16-year-old striker from Leicester City. The youngster is considered one of the most promising prospects in England, and City had already attempted to sign him last summer. Manga, however, chose to remain at Leicester, signing a scholarship deal. Despite this, City's interest has not faded. The club continues to monitor his development and is preparing a new move once he turns 17 and becomes eligible to sign a professional contract. Journalist Graham Bailey has described Manga as a generational talent, capable of transforming any attacking system with his explosiveness and refined technique. He already trains with Leicester's senior squad and has drawn interest from other major English clubs, including Chelsea, Tottenham, and Manchester United. The race is expected to be fierce, but City's record in developing young stars could be a decisive factor in Manga's choice. Internally, the board understands that signing Manga would be more than just a gamble. It would represent a continuation of the project that has turned the club's academy into one of the most respected in the world. Pep Guardiola often highlights the importance of investing in youth as a way to sustain the team's style and philosophy in the long run. Since his arrival, the City Football Academy's structure has been adapted to replicate the first team's tactical model across all age levels. As a result, any promoted youngster already understands the system's mechanics instinctively. While these behind-the-scenes moves unfold, Guardiola is also keeping a close eye on direct rivals. In a recent interview, the manager commented on Arsenal's success, with Mikel Arteta's side leading the Premier League by 4 points. Arteta's team, Pep's former assistant, has particularly excelled in set pieces, an area that has become a defining factor this season. Guardiola acknowledged their merit, but reinforced that City's focus remains on the quality of their play in open motion. According to him, modern football demands heightened attention to set plays, as an increasing percentage of goals now originate from such situations. "I'm not naive. Most goals today come from set pieces. We conceded one against Aston Villa, and that's something we must fix," he said. Pep praised Arsenal, Brentford, and Tottenham for their tactical efficiency in this area, but emphasized that his main goal is to keep improving City's collective game. Despite occasional criticism, Manchester City is showing signs of recovery and stability. After an uneven start, the team has found a balance between defense and attack. New signings are starting to adapt, and the collective rhythm is again approaching the level that made the club dominate English football in recent seasons. Guardiola, however, remains cautious. He knows the Premier League is increasingly unpredictable and that minor mistakes can prove costly. The season still promises many chapters, and the board wants to ensure the team enters 2026 with a strong and motivated squad. Renewing Rodri and Foden would be the first step. Promoting Mike Edu and possibly signing Manga would complete the cycle, uniting experience and youth in a single project. All of this under the watchful eye of Pep Guardiola, who continues to shape City not only as the team to beat, but as the club defining the future of English football. Oh, ChatGPT dis. The atmosphere at Manchester City reflects a club that has learned to live under constant pressure and to reinvent itself amid the changes of modern football. Pep Guardiola, now in his longest managerial cycle, knows that stability only exists when it is built on strategic renewal. That is why, while supporters focus on results on the pitch, the inner workings of the Etihad move with almost surgical precision. The board, led by Hugo Viana, understands that the secret lies not only in signing stars, but in maintaining the balance between experience and youth, ensuring that the club's identity remains intact. Rodri is the perfect example of this philosophy. When he arrived, he was just another talented midfielder among many. Today, he is the central pillar of Guardiola's system. His vision and ability to dictate the tempo have made him irreplaceable. Without him, the team loses fluency and defensive consistency. Negotiations to renew his contract are progressing quietly but optimistically. The club wants to reward him with a new deal and a salary rise in line with his status. Rodri, for his part, sees Manchester as the ideal environment to continue at his peak. Phil Foden is another symbol of this transition. Developed in City's academy, the Englishman has always been treated as the natural heir to Guardiola's style, technical, versatile, and tactically disciplined. After an inconsistent period due to injuries and fixture congestion, Foden has rediscovered his sparkle. In recent matches, he has shown why he remains a fan favorite. His current contract still has time left, but City want to bring forward a renewal to ward off interest from Europe's elite clubs. For the club, keeping Foden and Rodri means securing the backbone that sustains their style of play. But while the focus is on renewals, City are also preparing for the future. Ryan Mike Dew represents that vision. At just 17, the youngster is already drawing comparisons with other talents shaped by Guardiola. His progress in the academy is closely monitored, and there are internal voices saying he could be the next to make a full transition to the senior side. His style combines agility and quick decision-making, rare qualities in players his age. He reads space well, anticipates moves, and shows emotional maturity in decisive youth matches. During first-team training sessions, McAdoo has impressed the veterans. Internal sources reveal that Pep Guardiola publicly praised him after a tactical session, calling him a forward with a mature mindset. Such praise is uncommon. The Catalan coach is known to be sparing with compliments for young players, which shows the level of confidence placed in the boy. His official debut seems only a matter of time, especially with a crowded calendar of Premier League, Domestic Cup, and Champions League fixtures. Meanwhile, Jeremy Manga of Leicester City is seen as a potential reinforcement for the same attacking sector. Manga stands out for his physical strength and one-on-one decision-making, as well as his tactical discipline, something that appeals to City's coaching staff. His profile resembles that of players who have quickly adapted to Guardiola's system. He prefers to operate on the left, cutting inside, but is comfortable across the front line. City's interest in Manga is long-standing and reinforces a clear policy of identifying talent before the market inflates their value. The club believes that developing young players within its own environment is more efficient than spending astronomical sums on established stars. This management model is one of the pillars of the new era under Hugo Viana. The Portuguese executive, with a successful administrative background in his home country, has brought a cold, analytical approach to the English market. His strategy is simple: progressive rejuvenation and contractual stability. Therefore, the priority has been to renew before buying. The logic is to prevent future crises and avoid repeats of situations like Bernardo Silva's, the Portuguese midfielder, a club idol who could leave for free at the end of his contract. Bernardo has yet to decide his future. Talks have cooled, and sources close to him say he is considering options outside England. Although Guardiola admires his professionalism, the club is already preparing for a possible departure. Within this context, City's youth system becomes even more important. The City Football Academy is at its peak. Integration between the first team and youth levels has never been smoother. Under-18 and under-21 players regularly train with the seniors, absorbing tactical and behavioral standards. Guardiola believes that this coexistence is the true secret of sustainable success. He often says that building winning mindsets is more important than producing isolated stars. Pep's vision goes beyond the pitch. He sees the club as an ecosystem in which every layer depends on the other. The academy feeds the first team, which in turn inspires the next generations. The style of play, centered on possession, patience, and intelligence, is replicated from the under-12s to the professionals. That is why talents like McAdoo adapt so quickly when promoted. They already speak Guardiola's language from their first training session. In today's competitive environment, such coherence is an advantage. While rivals like Chelsea and Manchester United fluctuate between projects and managers, City maintain a solid identity. Continuity allows the club to reinvent itself without losing direction. This philosophy even extends to signings. City do not just buy talent, they buy compatibility. Players are assessed not only for performance, but for their ability to absorb complex tactical concepts. When commenting on Arsenal, Pep Guardiola showed respect, but also self-criticism. He knows that the strength of his rivals is not accidental. The work of Mikel Arteta, his former assistant, is the product of patience and method, two virtues Pep himself deems essential. Yet he emphasizes that his focus remains on City's performance, especially in defending set pieces. The goal conceded against Aston Villa served as a warning. Guardiola demanded extra training sessions to correct defensive positioning. He also acknowledged that English football has changed. The pace and intensity of matches have increased. Today, details decide championships. A poorly defended corner or a badly executed free kick can determine the title. For that reason, Pep wants a more alert team, capable of switching between positional play and direct play without losing identity. The mission is to rebuild the balance that once made City dominant. The coming months will be decisive. The contract renewals of Rodri and Foden, Mikadu's integration, the potential arrival of Manga, and the management of Bernardo Silva's possible exit are all moves that will shape the club's future. Every step is calculated. Guardiola does not believe in revolutions, but in constant adjustments. Manchester City evolves with every challenge, aware that staying at the top requires more than talent. It demands vision, discipline, and patience. And it is precisely this combination that makes City unique in modern football, a team that plans for the future while winning in the present. Pep understands that success is not a destination, but a continuous process. Every decision, no matter how small, fits into a larger plan. The Blue Machine keeps moving with its eyes fixed both on the pitch and on the horizon. Inside the Etihad, planning is treated as a science. No move is made without deep analysis, and every decision is based on data and long-term projections. Guardiola, alongside Hugo Viana, has built a system that combines statistics, sports psychology, and human observation. The goal is simple: to ensure Manchester City remains competitive even when its current manager decides to end his cycle. The board wants the club to be sustainable, capable of maintaining its standard of excellence without depending on a single figure. This reasoning explains why the youth categories have taken center stage. City invests in monitoring technology and artificial intelligence to evaluate individual and collective performance. From the under-15s, athletes receive personalized support that includes data on nutrition, stamina, sleep patterns, and mental load. Each player has a digital dossier detailing technical and psychological development. Mikadu, for instance, leads the charts in short space finishing and high-speed decision-making, two aspects Guardiola considers vital in modern football. This model is part of what the club calls the Project 2030, a 10-year strategy aimed at consolidating City as a talent-producing powerhouse rather than merely a buying one. The plan provides for the promotion of at least 2 academy players per season to the first team. The idea is to create a natural replacement cycle that reduces costs and preserves tactical identity. To achieve this, the club has formed partnerships with smaller City Football Group teams across various continents, serving as adaptation and maturation platforms. In the current scenario, Pep's focus is on optimizing what he already has. He knows that both the Premier League and the Champions League demand consistency and squad depth. Therefore, minute management will be essential. Rodri, for example, has been rested in less demanding matches, while Foden is undergoing a gradual physical reconditioning process. The Catalan coach understands that fatigue was one of the factors that harmed the final stretch of last season. Another challenge is maintaining the squad's emotional cohesion. The departures of experienced veterans created a leadership void. To compensate, Guardiola is betting on a collective leadership model. Instead of a single captain, there is an internal council made up of 4 players, all influential in different areas of the dressing room. This structure distributes responsibilities and prevents dependence on one figure. Rodri, Foden, Ruben Dias, and Ederson form this leadership core, representing balance between generations. Meanwhile, Hugo Viana works to anticipate potential future gaps. With Bernardo Silva nearing the end of his contract, the board is evaluating profiles capable of fulfilling his hybrid role in midfield and attack. There are ongoing observations in the Bundesliga and League One, but Plan A remains renewal. Even so, Viana has already established contacts with representatives of young players who could fit Guardiola's system in the medium term. The English press speculates that if Bernardo decides to leave, City may allocate resources towards signing a new attacking midfielder in the European summer. But internally, the priority is not to repeat the mistake of relying on the external market for every replacement. Hence, academy names such as Oscar Bob and Dier Mabude are being prepared for a natural transition. This policy reflects Viana's pragmatism, who prefers planning ahead rather than reacting to emergencies. While the behind-the-scenes activity intensifies, on the pitch, Manchester City is beginning to rediscover its rhythm. The team has refined its build-up play, regained defensive compactness, and returned to controlling matches through long possession and short triangulations. Guardiola has been emphasizing the concept of control through simplicity, a return to the essence that made the team feared. He believes tactical efficiency must prevail over spectacle. Playing beautifully is the consequence of playing correctly, he is said to have told players in an internal talk. This approach has a direct effect on the squad. Training sessions are intense, short, and extremely detail-focused. Each exercise is designed to correct a specific pattern. In the days leading up to major matches, the coach usually gathers the group for small tactical sessions in the training center's auditorium. There, he analyzes videos, pauses plays, shows alternative angles, and demands that players explain what they would do in each situation. It is a continuous teaching method that turns players into thinkers of the game. The culture established at City goes beyond the pitch. The club encourages players to take part in community actions and educational projects linked to the Citizens Giving Foundation. The idea is to build human bonds with the city of Manchester, reinforcing a sense of belonging. Guardiola considers this an extension of sporting work. According to him, those who understand the weight of the shirt off the pitch understand better how to defend it on it. At the same time, City continues to be a global showcase. Brands associated with the club are multiplying, and the Etihad Stadium is undergoing expansion to host over 60,000 fans. The management wants to transform the stadium into a multifunctional entertainment hub, with interactive areas and fan experience spaces. This project is part of a broader plan to position Manchester City as a world reference, not only in sport, but also commercially and technologically. All of this converges on a single point: sustainability. City aims to prove that it is possible to dominate modern football through intelligence and planning, not just financial power. Guardiola and Viana represent the balance between idealism and rational management. One focuses on the game, the other on the system that sustains it. And it is from this union that the silent strength keeping the club at the top emerges. But the future still holds challenges. The succession of Pep Guardiola is the biggest of them. His contract is nearing its end, and although the coach avoids discussing it, the board is already drafting plans for the post-Guardiola era. The priority is to preserve the philosophy intact. For this reason, the club is mapping managers aligned with the positional model and collective control culture. Mikel Arteta's name, a former assistant, always comes up in these discussions, although the board recognizes his ties with Arsenal make any immediate move difficult. While that decision is not yet urgent, City remains fully focused on results. Guardiola still believes this squad can win major titles before any change occurs. The Champions League remains a silent obsession. Even after the historic 2023 title, the desire to repeat the feat fuels the squad. The coach demands perfection, not out of vanity, but because he knows it is the only way to stay at the top. The cycle Manchester City is living is one of transition and consolidation at the same time. Renewals, promoted youngsters, internal restructuring, and the search for technical stability make up a single mosaic. Each piece fits to ensure that when the time demands a new era, it will already be ready, without rupture, without improvisation, only planned continuity. And that is precisely what makes Manchester City a rare case in modern football, a club that does not react to time but anticipates it. Under Pep Guardiola and Hugo Viana, City has become a precise organism where every decision, whether a renewal, a youth promotion, or a tactical change, is part of a greater plan. The future is already being built now within every training session, every dressing room conversation, and every young player dreaming of wearing sky blue. Rodri and Foden are the spine, Maikedu represents tomorrow, and Manga symbolizes the continuous ambition to discover talent before the world does. Meanwhile, Guardiola continues shaping the present with the same obsession that took him to the top of European football. Manchester City is not merely a team. It is a living project, in constant evolution, determined to remain at the forefront of the game for decades. And if you believe in this project and want to follow every step of the journey, leave your like now, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications. That way, you won't miss any updates on behind-the-scenes news, transfers, and the great stories that continue to shape Manchester City's future. Your support keeps this space growing and delivering exclusive content for those who truly live football.